Houses for Day Democrats, thank you for sharing some time with me. Thank you for what you do every day to make this a Democratic county now for 10 years in a row. I think since Rosemary and I were first elected to the legislature in 2000, you have helped produce a Democratic sweep throughout Denver. Back-to-back-to-back majorities now for the first time since Jack Kennedy was president, and I hope another majority in 2010. Thank you for doing that. I just got back from Grand Junction, where it turns out Democrats are a little scarcer, if you didn't know that. And it turns out the Mesa County Democratic Party had 285 people at a dinner just last night. So there is help and hope on the western slope, but it was not without a little bit of struggle on the way. We got to the site of the dinner at the Two Rivers Convention Hall on Main Street in Grand Junction, and we were greeted, if you can call it that, by a crowd of Tea Party activists carrying signs and placards, that's right, with epithets that would not be fit for this company or any other, offering us Heil Hitler salutes on the way in, and comparing the President of the United States to a fascist or a Nazi. There is a line, there used to be a line, at any event, in American politics that reasonable men and women would not cross. That line has been erased by this crowd. I believe in the right to dissent. That's the most democratic thing in the world. But when you make death threats against the President of the United States or anyone who disagrees with you, it's time to draw that line and say enough is enough. We are all Americans. And that principle, I fear, is in danger, in part because, as a radio host put it the other day, of the sort of Frankenstein's monster that Dick Armey and his friends on the far right have created. If you tell the American people that the President is not an American, that he's illegitimate, that he seeks to create death panels to kill your grandparents, if you tell people that, you should not be surprised when some of them believe you, and worse yet, when they act on the threats that you have encouraged, when they throw rocks or bricks at the offices of members of Congress, or hurl racial epithets on civil rights heroes like John Lewis. We should not be surprised by the danger and violence that emerges from the atmosphere that these demagogues have created. We should not be surprised, and we should not be afraid, in my view, to call their bluff and stand up for the principles that we hold dear. That's important for us to do at this time. Now, the good news is the facts are on our side. Somebody once said, Republicans are just Democrats without all the facts yet. So the challenge, I think, for all of us is to make it clear what we're fighting for and who we are and what we believe in, and to broaden our tent to make it big enough to accommodate folks who may not otherwise be engaged, who may not have all the evidence. This is a challenge that will face us, I believe, every year. Many of us have been doing this for a long time. This is probably not my 62nd or 41st spaghetti dinner, but the truth is, it's not going to be simple, it's not going to be easy, there's no quick solution to this problem. Mark Twain once said, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still tying its shoes. This is the challenge. And don't be mistaken, it's not just an accident, it's not just misinformation, it's a deliberate campaign of deception and disinformation that we're fighting against. Distortions and inaccuracies and dangerous lies, and we ought to call them for what they are. Whether it comes from Sarah Palin or Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or the Tea Party placard-waving activists down the street, we ought to stand up for what we believe. If we don't do that, nobody will. We cannot rely on the news media. We cannot rely on the goodness of the hearts of our neighbors. We're going to have to take ownership and reclaim this democracy as our own. I know you do that every single day with the work you put into this Democratic Party. For that, you have my admiration and my thanks. Thanks for coming tonight.